Well, India will raise the issue of the Northeast rumours with Pakistan. Union Home Secretary R.K. Singh. Bulk of the rumours that triggered a scare among people from the Northeast originated from our neighbour. Now, the Home Secretary said most of the online material that had doctored images of Myanmar has been traced to Pakistan, calling it highly reprehensible. R.K. Singh said the truth has to be known to everyone and that India will raise the issue with Pakistan.
A bulk of these messages and these clips have their origin in our western neighbor, in Pakistan. That's what our agencies have discovered. That the bulk of these have been uploaded in various websites in Pakistan. This is the first of its kind, and we believe that it's highly reprehensible.
So are you also going to take it diplomatically with Pakistan on this issue through MEA?
We will raise it. We will raise it. Though of course I'm quite certain that they will deny it out of hand. Yeah, but I mean our technical people are definite.
Well, former Haryana Minister Gopal Kanda is yet to reveal to the police where he's been hiding for the past 10 days. After securing his 7-day custody, the police is verifying evidence collected in connection with the suicide of 23-year-old air hostess Gitika Sharma. Now, Delhi police say they are trying to retrieve a lot of electronic evidence from Kanda's office of the now defunct MDLR airline.
मटेरियल एविडेंस वगैरह है उसको क्रॉस वेरीफाई कर रहे हैं कितना तक क्या बोल रहा है क्या है क्या सर्कमस्टेंसेस है इसके बारे में हम चेक कर रहे हैं और इसके अलावा अभी उनको 7 दिन का पीसी मिला है उसी में बाकी पूरा एविडेंस।
सर ये 12 दिन कहाँ रहा क्या बताया सर उसने कि 12 दिन कहाँ गया?
इसके बारे में अभी तक कुछ क्लियर नहीं बताया, हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं।
Sonal Mehrotra now joins us for more. Well, Sonal, many would believe the task of the police really begins now that they have got a week's custody of Kanda.
That's right, Kulsoom. After a week, the prime accused joined the investigation only after almost 2 weeks into the suicide of Gitika Sharma. And you rightly said, the big task of police starts now. Now that he is behind bars, in this police station behind me, the real task ahead for the police is to get hold of strong evidence, to put in a strong case against him. We've been told that he was grilled till around 11 o'clock in the night. And we've been also told that, his lawyers have constantly been in touch with him, being very cautious about what he says and what he does not say to the police. But these 7 days will be, used by the police to gather as much evidence, as much forensic evidence as they can. They have said in the court that they'll be looking at mobile phones, SMSs being exchanged between Kanda and Gitika, also laptops and hard drives which have been missing from the MDLR office. Now they will be we can assume that they will be taking him to different offices of MDLR, asking him to give up all those, passwords and accounts to get exact forensic evidence so that they can prove a strong case against him. Also remember, Aruna Chadha, the second prime accused in the case, is now in judicial custody. The police are also telling us that now they will be confronting the both of them, making them sit together on one table and get out with the facts. See that both of them match and that they can, unearth the entire conspiracy which happened and which led to the suicide of Gitika. Remember, both Kanda and Aruna Chadha have been named in the suicide note which Gitika wrote, very categorically saying that they are responsible, that they betrayed her trust and they are responsible for her to commit suicide. But that is not going to be enough for the police to prove this case against Kanda in the court of law. Remember, the case against Kanda is of 306, abetment to suicide, a very tough case to prove in the court. So now they're looking at as much forensic evidence as they can gather to put up a strong case. And they have for that 7 days now to do that.
Right, Sonal Mehrotra, thanks very much for joining us. Now, we're placing limits on opportunities for our youth, says the Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh. Speaking at the IIT Bombay convocation, the Prime Minister said it actually pains him to hear of high cut-offs at universities for college admissions, reminding graduating students that India still lags behind in the research and development area. The Prime Minister says India today needs national leaders from the fields of science and engineering.
Every year when I see how many hundreds of thousands of students apply for admission to these institutions, and when I see how high have become the minimum cut-off marks on admission. My heart is pained by the limits we are placing on the opportunities available to our youth.
Meanwhile, Anna Hazare has hit out at the Prime Minister after the CAG report on coal block allocation. Hazare, though, refused to comment on BJP's demand for the Prime Minister's resignation. A Comptroller and Auditor General report tabled in Parliament just 2 days earlier states that 142 coal fields were allotted to private and state-run firms without transparency and objectivity between 2005 and 2009, the period under which this ministry came under the Prime Minister.
ये दुर्दैव है इस देश का कि ऐसे भ्रष्टाचार में अगर पंत प्रधान में आता है तो ये दुर्दैव है। क्या आदर्श लेना जनता ने?
सर, विपक्षों ने कहा है कि प्रधानमंत्री ने इस्तीफा देना चाहिए।
वो तो उनका प्रश्न है, वो राजनीति में मैं नहीं जाना चाहता हूँ, लेकिन समाज के प्रमुख बोल के आगे चलने वाले लोग हैं, उनकी बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी होती है। जनता देखती है कि हमारा नेता कैसा चलता है, कैसा बर्ताव करता है, क्या खाता है, क्या पीता है।
Police custody of 23 people were arrested by the crime branch of Mumbai police probing last Saturday's violence near Azad Maidan ends today. The violence had left 2 people dead. These people have been charged with murder, dacoity, rioting and arson, destruction of property and molestation of 8 women constables. They will be produced in a court later today. Adamant on his demand to speak to Defence Minister A.K. Antony, an army man who climbed a 200-foot-high mobile tower in New Delhi has refused to come down after several attempts by senior army officers. Vice Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General S.K. Singh also visited the spot and tried to persuade him to come down. A.K. Muthu, who is attached to the Engineers Regiment, climbed the tower at the Ajmeri Gate on August 17th, alleging harassment by seniors. Well, deficient rain and an unending wait for irrigation water is turning desperation into anger in North Gujarat. Now, farmers there actually gave up part of their land, hoping one day canals will bring Narmada water to their farms. But 2 years have passed and little has changed on the ground. Rohit Bhan gets us this report.
It was North Gujarat's and Saurashtra's great hope. But this under-construction branch canal, expected to channelize Narmada waters to water-starved Lalpur village in North Gujarat, hasn't met its great expectations. And Lakshman Bhai feels the pinch. Villagers like him have waited for over 2 years now for Narmada water, as the construction work on routing the canal through the village is yet to be completed.
क्योंकि आगे से पानी नहीं आता है तो आगे जाके रुक जाता है। और यहाँ पे जब जो गाय भैंस होती है उसको खाने के लिए तो कुछ तो चाहिए ना, सरकार भी कुछ नहीं देती है, इसलिए पानी भी नहीं छोड़ती, इसलिए क्या करें हम।
In the last 10 years, farmers in several parts of the states have given up their land to governmental agencies for construction of these branch canals, hoping that their water woes will end. But in the last 1 decade, their miseries don't seem to end, with construction work on these canals yet to be completed. In an area entirely dependent on rain for its water needs, desperation is fast turning into anger.
એક તો જમીન ખોદી નાખી અમારી, હવે કઈ તમારે પાણી નથી ત્યારે પહેલે શું કામ ખોદી નાખી દીધી વસ્તીને વરસાદ વરસતો ત્યારે તો પાકતા 10 વર્ષથી તો ખોદીને મેલી દીધી હોરી.
The government, facing flack for the delayed construction, has been revising its deadlines. Now it says the canal would take another year and a half at least. Of the total 2,600-kilometer branch canal, 40% is yet to be built. Similarly, out of over 5,000-kilometer long distributaries, over 3,300 kilometers remains to be constructed. Land is still to be acquired by the government in certain cases. Over 70% of the works related to minor canals are yet to be completed. The government says it has penalized several contractors for delays in construction work and claims it's speeding up the work. But on the ground, such assurance mean little. In North Gujarat, with camera person Natwar Parmar, Rohit Bhan for NDTV.
U.S. First Lady Michelle Obama will meet the victims of the Wisconsin Gurudwara attack on the 23rd of this month, according to a statement by the White House. 6 Sikh worshippers were killed when Wade Michael Page, an Army veteran with links to racist groups, gunned them down and then killed himself. The shooting incident has been termed as an act of hate crime by the investigating agencies. Now, 11-year-old girl has been arrested in Pakistan on charges of blasphemy. Now, police say the girl has been accused of burning pages of a holy book. The girl was arrested on Friday by personnel from a women's police station after a local resident filed a complaint against her. However, an NGO reported on its website that the girl has Down syndrome and has been falsely accused in the case. Well, suspected Al-Qaeda militants in Yemen attacked intelligence headquarters in the city of Aden on Saturday, killing at least 14. Rocket-propelled grenades were used to attack the building, and militants have seized large parts of the country. Now, this attack comes in retaliation to a recent 2-month military offensive backed by the U.S. against militants in the southern Abyan province. Ecuador President Rafael Correa on Saturday continued to stand behind his decision to grant political asylum to WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange at a rally in the city of Loja in the southern part of the country. Correa said Ecuador made its decision to grant asylum in a responsible, calm and sovereign manner. Ecuador has granted asylum to WikiLeaks founder who took refuge at the embassy in London earlier this year. He faces extradition to Sweden over sexual assault claims.
Decidido en forma responsable, serena, soberana, tratando siempre de privilegiar el diálogo, pero al final tuvimos que tomar una decisión en función de precautelar la vida y los derechos fundamentales del señor Julian Assange. Ahí está nuestra decisión soberana de otorgar asilo diplomático al señor Julian Assange, conversando con todos, pero sin tener que pedirle permiso absolutamente a nadie, y peor, cediendo amenazas. Por favor, entérense qué gobierno ahora tiene Ecuador. Un gobierno que se parece a su pueblo. Un gobierno valiente, honesto, digno, patriota.
Well, roughly a month from now, the Indian Navy sailing vessel will start on an epic journey, a first for India, and that of a solo non-stop circumnavigation of the globe. But the venture is much more than adventure sports. Shruti Ranjan Sen has this report.
Last-minute consultations between the master and his protege. Weeks from now, Indian Navy sailing vessel Madhe will be out to sea again for another unique feat. This time, the first non-stop circumnavigation. And this man will be its captain, crew and passenger. Commander Dilip Dhonde became the first Indian ever to circumnavigate the globe. Commander Dhonde sailed for 6 months, touched 4 ports, battled bad weather, had his sails ripped off near New Zealand, and at times he wanted to give up sailing.
More times than I can remember. There are many times, and I would promise myself that I would curse myself for volunteering for a project like this, and promise myself that I would never sail again, catch the next flight and come back home. But those are when the sea state is really bad, and you're also cursing yourself for not making your will, because you don't know whether you'll see the next day. But then the nearest land is about 1,000-2,000 miles away.
A Navy diver, Commander Dhonde, dug in. A lonely seal, a herd of whales or dolphins, and an occasional port call